and Snow League, Shaun White Snow League, I believe it is, which most of you have never heard of. So that's the stuff that these guys are, the parent company is putting up the money that they're behind. So they're throwing money at offshoot sports ventures, and the ones that they have, you've never heard of for the most part.
All right, Liv Morgan has gotten a role in Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, which is going to be allegedly beginning production in Tokyo next month, although the impression I got was that she's out of here, and that's why they shot the angle on Monday. I think she's heading over this week, and she's going to be one of the stars in the film. We'll have international distribution rights set to go on sale at the Cannes Film Festival in France next month.
Yeah, the U.S. Theatrical release at some point.
Yep.
Did you know that the director of this movie did essentially a pro wrestling movie in 1986?
I did not. What movie was it?
Yeah, it was for Japan. It was United States. Yeah, it was a movie about. It was essentially a movie loosely based on the life of Akira Maeda.
Huh.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but I remember his name. Doing the Maeda movie in 1986.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's a very well-respected director, and she's working with the cast with real actors and actresses, and good for her. I think some of the build and what people were saying kind of made it kind of like the Bischoff story. I think that there was like people kind of blowing this thing up, and then when the announcement's made, it's kind of a disappointment in both cases. What are they doing?
Well, it's a little bit different because with Hogan and Eric, it was like, I mean, they were trying to build it up. I don't think anybody was taking it seriously. Like, nobody thought it was going to be a pro wrestling league because how?
You can't start because everyone's under contract.
But the thing with Liv Morgan is like these were people in Hollywood. They were talking about how this is going to be like a real big thing.
Well, it's something important. It's a real role. Yeah. I mean, she's in a real starring role. She's playing it's set in Japan, and she's playing the daughter of a major politician who the daughter Liv gets kidnapped, and the other stars in the movie are trying to rescue her. I guess is the situation. So, but I mean, it's a great opportunity for her. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so we've got Dontaku and Best of the Super Juniors coming up, and a lot of news on both of those. The full lineup for the May 3rd Dontaku show has a dog-pound steel cage match with the losing team leaving Bullet Club.
Well, the losing team is no longer allowed to use the Bullet Club name, essentially.
Well, that's definitely leaving the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
With the War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, and Taichi Shimori versus Evil Show, Sonata, Ren Narita, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
Yeah, so the deal is there was a, last year, they did a similar cage match, the one which was Will Ospreay's last match in Osaka, that went over an hour. So that's kind of like the, I mean, I remember that match for like 45 minutes was absolutely incredible, and then the last like 15, 20 minutes just like killed it. They went too long, and they got too out of control, and it ended up ending on a pretty, some people thought it was like one of the greatest matches they've ever seen, and a lot of people absolutely hated it, and, when I watched it, it was like, man, this match is fantastic, and then all of a sudden, until it wasn't, and then it just kind of got like, man, just got out of control. But that's what they're trying to accomplish is this, crazy cage match with, all kinds of gimmicks, so we'll see what happens.
Also got Shingo versus Shota Umino, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., the feud that will never end.
Their last match ever. I love the Hiroshi Tanahashi Zack Sabre Jr. matches because it brings, they're just so smart, and the matches are always great.
We got El Phantasmo versus Takeshita for the New Japan World TV title. We got Taguchi, Yoshihashi, and Goto versus Jacob Austin Young, Ryokan, and Callum Newman, which is awfully weird that,
Is it, because I have let's change, I have Takeshita and a mystery partner against Phantasmo and Jado.
I got Phantasmo against Takeshita. This would have been from earlier today. So.
It may have changed since Phantasmo won the title from Okan the other day.
Well, it's weird that right in the middle of the show, just a random six-man with Callum Newman, who the next day will be challenging for the title.
No, that's how they book, actually.
World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, no, you've got Goto.
I guess Goto's in the match.
Goto and Callum Newman on different sides of a six-man tag. That'd be
Shouldn't that be higher on the card? I don't know, whatever.
Well, if the other ones are title matches and major singles, it wouldn't be higher on the card.
We got Taka Michinoku, Taichi, Nishii, and Yui Uemura versus Bushi, Takahashi, Naito, and Yoda one of Naito's last matches.
Second to last match.
Master Wato, Yo, Bolton Oleg, and Toru Yano versus Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and Ryohei Oiwa, and Katsuya Morishima versus Daiki Nagai.
Yep.
So then on May 4th, we got the Goto Callum Newman match for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. We got Yoda versus Yuya Uemura for the global title. We got Taka Michinoku, Taichi Ishii, and Shota Umino versus Bushi, Hiromu, Naito, and Shingo.
So that's Naito and Bushi's last New Japan match is going to be on the 4th.
Well, by the way, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't read it. But did you see the thing where he was doing his interview about how his departure had absolutely nothing to do with money whatsoever? And then when he
but it absolutely did have to do with
I know when he was talking about it in the interview, he was talking about they made me the first offer, and I was like, wasn't that about money then? That's exactly what it was about.
His argument is that he asked for a reasonable amount of money,
and they said no.
Evidently.
So he left.
Yes.
So it was about money.
It's about money.
No one said he was asking for like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
He said it was about money. Anyway, wrestlers from Stardom will face each other. It says here, Stardom Showcase.
Okay, hold on, I got that one. It's where's my Stardom notes? Starlight Kid, Yuna Mizumori, and Azumi against Suzuki Koguma and Maika.
All right. El Phantasmo, Oleg Bolton versus Takeshita and Rocky Romero. We got Master Wato and Yoshihashi versus Jacob Austin Young and Great Khan. And Baten Burabura and Mentai Kid versus Geto and Taichi Ishimori. Also Jetway and Hitamaru Sasaki versus Katsuya Murashima and Taguchi.
Yeah, so the new names are Fukuoka area independent wrestlers.
All right.
So that they're giving a shot on the show.
All right, so here's in the Best of the Super Juniors. I mean, we have all the entrants, basically, right?
Yeah, but they announced the blocks for the first time.
Okay.
So,
all right, so Block A has got Master Wato, Takahashi, Kushida, Kosei Fujita, Ninja Mac, Robbie X, Francisco Akira, Clark Connors, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Dragon Dia.
So, the funny one is they have been listing X, as this, so we everyone assumed it was a mystery partner, a mystery opponent, but in fact it's Robbie X. So that was like
That's definitely X.
Yep. So the other, so they had an X who actually was the replacement for Bushi, who was going to be in the tournament. And then in the B block, they had said they were going to have a mystery CMLL wrestler who turned out to be Titan. And I guess the idea of not announcing Titan, even though like he's been in this tournament before and done very well. A couple years ago, he had a great tournament. I think he went to the Final Four and had incredible matches. And I would presume he's going to have incredible matches in this tournament as well. But Titan won on Friday. He won the Universal Championship in the CMLL tournament. He won the three-way, the series of three-ways, including three-way final. And I guess the idea is that because he won the tournament, he's the CMLL rep. So that's the deal. So B block is El Desperado, Ryusuke Taguchi, Kevin Knight, Robbie Eagles, Yo, Taichi Shimori, Titan, Nick Wayne, Mao, and Sho. And just from watching the Dynamite show tonight and them pushing Nick Wayne being in this tournament, it makes me think that that Nick Wayne is going to do well in this tournament. And he'll have a chance. I mean, he's going to do a singles match with with Desperado, and as will Kevin Knight. They will both, they all wrestle each other, so they'll have singles with both of them. Will have singles with Desperado, which is very interesting matches. Taguchi, Robbie Eagles is a fantastic wrestler. Yo is very good. Ishimori who's very good. Titan who's great, and Mao's really impressive. He's really good too. And of course Sho, who is very talented, but usually has shitty matches these days.
All right, so the first night is May 10th. Second night is May 11th. The first night has Kushida and Hiromu, Dragon Dai and Kanemaru, Fujita versus Francisco Akira, El Desperado versus Titan, and Nick Wayne versus Sho. And then,
so he starts out low.
And then night 2, Ninja Mac versus X.
Master Wato versus... Actually, that should actually be a hell of a match. Robbie X is one of these guys who's like really, really good that you just don't hear about, and kind of is like, he just started working in Japan, and he just like, his first match just like blew people away. So, and Ninja Mac is like a great gymnast, and he's learned to work his gymnastics in the match. He's very entertaining to watch.
And then we got night 2, Ninja Mac, Robbie X, Master Wato, Clark Connors, Kevin Knight versus Mao, Yo versus Robbie Eagles, and Taguchi versus Taichi Shimori.
Yeah, I expect some great matches out of this tournament, especially towards the end.
All right, Mayu Iwatani.
She just announced minutes ago that she's going to Marigold, so that mystery is solved. She's very loyal to Rossy Ogawa. I mean, like when she had the WWE offer, she didn't go. Io went, although it took several times for Io to go, and Kairi Sane, of course, went first. And at the time, had she gone, if all three of them had gone, it would have been very, very damaging. I mean, I know people there. It's like it sounds alarming, but at the time, the basic feeling was that if she left, that Stardom would be in serious jeopardy. Because if all three left, that was kind of the thing, because they were the three big stars. If they all left, but she stayed, Stardom ended up actually getting bigger. And there were a lot of names when Rossy Ogawa first was going to start. Marigold was going to, Julia and Mayu Iwatani, Shuri, and Utami were. And Mirai, were supposed to be like the big stars going, and Shuri did not go. Julia, went, but then went to WWE, and Iwatani, as it turned out, had more time on her contract. But she had promised that she was going to go, and she's very loyal to Rossy Ogawa, because he broke her into the business, and there's a lot of others who also said they were going to go that ended up staying with Stardom, and Stardom gave them raises, or just the thing that surprised me a little bit is that Marigold really hasn't knocked him dead or anything, and Stardom is far more popular. But and many of the women who gave their word that they were going did not go. But Mayu Iwatani is going. She's not going to the United States. I heard Tekla. Have you heard Tekla to AEW?
I have not heard that.
That's a rumor going around, but she's done. Tekla's done with.
Well, she is coming to America. You know that.
Yeah.
So I guess we shall see. All right, Triple A.
Well, there's just there's been more stuff. So Dorian Roldan has been told that he will remain president. We'll see how long that goes, but he's supposed to remain president. He did an interview this week and said that essentially the deal is not done. He's very confident the deal will be done. He said that they announced a deal even though it's not done because they wanted it out there because they were doing that show together in Inglewood, the Los Angeles show on June 7th. So that's why it was announced. So it does appear, even more likely that the show in Inglewood, the show that suddenly came up in Monterey, and the deal being announced at WrestleMania is because AEW made the announcement before they finished the deal of the Arena Mexico run. So, so that's one thing. Maricela Pena, his mother, is going to remain a director, at least as of right now. And the big thing is, they've got Nick on this one, is selling the rights and making money in the American market, and having better production, obviously the show from Mexico, and bringing Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio and Penta and Phoenix and Andrade and people like that who are big stars. Well, Dominic hasn't been there. El Grande Americano is a heel. That's kind of like the hope, to have those people on the big AAA shows like the Monterey show on June 15th, and use them to up the crowds and improve the AAA shows by using WWE talent, and use it. The other goal, of course, is to acquire and get talent in AAA that will become the next round of Latino stars for WWE. So kind of like a developmental type system in Mexico. And the idea that, like a lot of people, the goal is, probably more than, the goal is more right now to go to CMLL and go to Arena Mexico than to go to AAA. But the idea is that they can change that because now AAA is the pipeline to WWE, and WWE obviously, you can make a lot more money than you can in CMLL. So that is the lure that the top independent wrestlers in Mexico, the young guys coming in who are really acrobatic and have the right look and everything like that, that they will go to AAA rather than CMLL because it's your entree into WWE. Because of that, they do expect, WWE will not say this, and it goes against their mission statement. The reality is that they want people to work in AAA, a more WWE style, learn English, learn to work on the left side, not the right side, things like that. And so they are more ready to go up to WWE. So that's some of the stuff there. And but basically, the money, like for everything, is media rights. There's not a lot of money in media rights in Mexico. So the idea is media rights, whether it's on getting money from Hispanic stations in the United States, sponsorships as well. Because again, in Mexico there are not a lot of sports sponsors, and in the United States there's far more. So that's the key to this is sponsorships and television rights fees, or streaming rights fees for that matter, with a good streaming provider. So that's what they are hoping for. And if it's television rights fees, they're going to have to do the same thing I've talked about with the Eric thing, is no one's going to pay them at first. You're going to have to prove that you're worthy and prove that you can draw ratings. Or you could get maybe a streaming deal based on, but I don't know how big of money that would be, but maybe you just go in, get the exposure, don't get a lot of money at first. It's not like WWE can't afford the losses. And you build a track record. And then, like with AEW, a couple years down the line, you prove yourself and you get a real money deal. So, again, that is the goal, and we'll see if, the idea is always been for years that there is a large percentage